Tim. Welcome to the world of Grand Seiko, and today we discuss the usage and care of your Grand Seiko SBGM221. This timepiece is automatic winding by means of its case-back winding mass. It uses the kinetic energy of the wrist, and when fully wound, it does have a 72-hour power reserve, approximately. But you can manually wind the watch by taking the crown in its first position flush to the case and turning it 30 to 40 turns in a clockwise direction. At this point, you can set the time zones, you can set the date, the watch will wind itself, but if you wish to wind to extremity, simply turn until you hear a subtle click or tick from within the watch. That's the bridle style mainspring slipping. You cannot accidentally overwind the watch because of the bridle architecture. Just listen for that click. That's your cue that you're there. Now wait for that seconds hand to reach 12, and you pull the crown out 2 detents. We're going to talk about setting the watch. 2 detents out stops the balance. It hacks the seconds, as they say. Now I'm going to set my 24-hour hand first. Let's say it is 8:30 in the morning in my reference time zone. That blue time is the indication of 24-hour time in a zone where you are not. It's your reference. It's the place you're keeping track of overseas. So I'm going to set it to 8, and let's say it's 8:32 where my friends are located. So I want to keep track of where they are. If it's 8:32 there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the watch to 8:33, and against a known accurate reference time, such as an atomic clock set to that time zone, I'm going to go on my computer, find an atomic clock on the internet, and I'm going to set this watch against it, set to the next nearest minute, the same hour. First set your 24-hour hand, then worry about your local time. As soon as that reference time catches up to the second and the minute that you've set for your reference time, push that crown back in. Now the watch is beating again, and we can set our local time. You can see the dates beginning to jump. And that's because when you pull the crown out 1 detent, not all the way out and not flush to the case, now you can move that local hour hand independently. And you can see how it will drive the date in either direction as I'm crossing the international date line. So it's great for travelers. It doesn't stop the other indications of the dial, so it doesn't interfere with the precision of the watch. Let's say where I am, it is just past, let's say it's just past 2 a.m. Now once I've set my local hour, it's going to be about 2:34 where I am. You want to be careful when you push that crown back in, because what can happen is the hand can actually jump a little bit. So you want to always make sure that when you set that local time, you don't let it jump. You set it precisely, and then you push the crown in, just like that. Now, the watch does have a number of capabilities and vulnerabilities with respect to handling. The first is going to be water. Water is one of 3 hazards, water, magnetism, and shock, that you need to keep in mind. And although the watch is water resistant to 30 meters, which is sufficient for surface exposure but not vigorous aquatic activity, you need to remember that leather, a natural porous material, as featured on the strap, is never water resistant. So avoid exposing the strap to moisture, and above all, avoid exposing it to immersion. Now you can help to avoid accidental drowning of your watch, as the timepiece does feature seals that require the crown to be flush to the case and all of its functions disused during winding and setting. Whenever the watch is wet, whenever there's water on the case, and especially whenever the watch is underwater, disuse the crown. Don't wind it, don't set it. A wet watch with a crown in action is a watch with water inside the case, and disaster results. Also, keep in mind that water resistance is not a static feature of your watch, and over time, as lubricants age and seals degrade, your watch will be relatively less water resistant than when it left the factory. Therefore, Grand Seiko recommends, on an annual basis, having your watch water tested at an authorized service center to ensure it still meets its 30-meter water resistance as rated from the factory. Magnetism is ubiquitous. You find it in the closures of wallets and purses, refrigerator doors. High-powered electromagnets are found in personal devices and computers, and powerful static magnets exist in speakers, including those inside your laptop, so take care when using the watch around laptops. A magnetized hairspring, that's the spring at the center of your watch's beating balance, but a magnetized hairspring will cause the watch to run erratically. It may run fast, it may run slowly, but if you suspect due to erratic running that your watch has become magnetized, take it to a Grand Seiko service center where specialized equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize your watch. Most Grand Seiko dealers will have this capability. Shock, however, poses a greater threat to your timepiece as it can, at minimum, cause imprecise running, and maximally it can dislodge sapphires, crack sapphires, damage seals, or damage the movement to the point that it stops. Therefore, disuse your watch during concussive activities such as batting, tennis, or golf, firearms marksmanship, and the riding of ATVs or mountain bikes. Ultimately, every fine timepiece requires a comprehensive service, and Grand Seiko recommends having your watch overhauled exclusively at an authorized service center approximately every 3 years. A good time to have total condition tested is during your annual water test. If necessary, service exclusively with Grand Seiko's factory or authorized service centers, as these agencies solely have the trained personnel, specialized tools, and original Grand Seiko replacement parts to maintain the value of your watch as both instrument and as investment. Moreover, only these agencies are able to back all labor and parts invested with a Grand Seiko factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at govbergwatches.com and call, text, or email our experts who will be happy to walk you through every phase of the ownership and usage of this or any Grand Seiko timepiece.